What is up, Bills Mafia? Welcome back to the Stray Buffalo podcast. Hope everyone is doing well, staying safe. We are at the end of another Sunday game. The Bills go 4-0, and we are undefeated. Crazy game. First time we've been 4-0 since the 2020 season. A lot of good things. I'm, very positive person with the Bills, but also a lot of things I think to go over. So let's just start out with the stats. With Josh Allen, 16 for 22, 209 yards, 9.5 yards average per throw, 2 touchdowns, pretty bad interception, but 113.6 QB rating. Act 3 times. We'll get into that. Next up, James Cook, monster day. He finished the day with 22 carries, 117 yards, 1 touchdown. His longest run was 15 yards, and he's the first Bill since Thurman Thomas to have gone 3 consecutive games with over 100 yards rushing. Crazy stuff by him. Definitely worth the money we paid him. Josh Allen, 45 yards rushing as well. He had a huge 27-yard burst at the end in the fourth quarter to kind of seal the game for us. He put on the cape today at the end and pulled us through. Receiving, Shakir had 69 yards, 5 receptions, a touchdown. Coleman was pretty active pretty early, then kind of got quiet. He had 45 yards and 3 catches, and Dalton Kincaid had a touchdown as well with 28 yards. On defense, wasn't much to be happy about. Some late game performance, which is, obviously good and what you want. So I am happy about that. And I thought they tightened up at the end. And then Cole Bishop with a great interception on the Philly special. So overall, the Bills come into this game heavy favorites, 2 touchdown plus favorites. And I knew that line was too big. It was way too big. But what I think I'm noticing with the Buffalo Bills is it's almost like for some of the game, they're playing like they're assumed they're going to win. And obviously in the NFL, you cannot do that. I think the Saints are a lot more talented than they were given credit for. They obviously have dynamic players. Spencer Rattler, I don't think he's won a game yet starting, and obviously this adds to that. But very shifty, pretty good running quarterback. Didn't have a lot of great passing yards. Had some tight throws when he needed to. But overall, I mean, even the interception wasn't his fault. Like, he played a pretty clean game. He didn't play a great game by any stretch of the imagination, but he also wasn't like the reason they were losing. But overall, the Saints came to play today. And I feel like that's been the story, especially with the Jets. The Dolphins, not as much, but the Saints came to play. And when you're favored by more than 2 touchdowns, that's like pretty disrespectful. And I think the New Orleans Saints took that to heart today. And you saw it on their play in the field. They play with a lot of heart. They play with a lot of focus. Didn't let up as many mistakes. We got killed on penalties today. They weren't as bad. But they came into Orchard Park ready to play, ready to go, and wanting to prove a point and wanting to get the win. And I think it took the Bills a minute to get going in this game. They had a great first 2 drives, and then they kind of, it kind of sputtered out, and the defense was just getting shredded. So I'll go quarter by quarter, and then I'll end with themes like I usually do on this show. Again, these are some quick recaps post-game to get my thoughts out there and keep you guys ready to go. So Vandermark was in the first quarter. Ryan Vandermark had an awful game. He was the reason why we didn't convert on a 4th down play late in the game. He had some missed blocking assignments. Not impressed with him at all. Obviously, Spencer Brown was out. Not sure for how long. Obviously, he's not going to be out for the season, hopefully. But, he's just injured. I think he's going to be back in a week or so. I think they just let him rest today. But, man, was his absence felt. I know a lot of Bills Mafia still kind of like to jump on the hate Spencer Brown bandwagon, but in a game like today, you can see why he's so missed. One thing that I thought was interesting is Josh Palmer got in early. Curtis Samuel was in rotation. But just an awful start to the defense this game. Just getting shredded apart. Saints marched down. They couldn't get off the field. And Spencer Rattler had many runs today where he would, the pocket would be closing around him, and he would just run right up the middle and make a guy miss. I'm pretty sure it was Dorian Strong each time. Just not a great start for the Bills defense, and they just looked awful. Now, that being said, they're missing Ed Oliver. They're missing Milano. They're missing some key players. And I know Sean McDermott is a defensive coach, but man, his guys were not ready today, and we'll get into that in a minute. One note from the first quarter is James Cook had a rushing touchdown in this game, which we discussed, but this makes his 8th consecutive game with a rushing touchdown. And then Keon had some great catches in that great game, a great drive. It's just weird. He was really open early on, and then he just couldn't get it together. So interesting to see. We go to the second quarter. Terrell Bernard had a great stop. He had a little injury scare today. Got stepped on. Seems to be a theme with the Bills, but he was playing well. And then the Josh Allen pick. He just kind of sailed the ball a little bit farther than Keon was running, threw it into double coverage, gets picked off by their rookie corner. First Josh Allen interception of the season, his first one. Obviously not turning the ball over a ton. There was one later in the game where I saw comments where it was like Josh was throwing it errantly. Ball got tipped. It wasn't like a bad throw. His hand literally got hit while throwing. Um, but yeah, bad interception in the second quarter. Wasn't like terrible, but probably shouldn't have thrown that ball. You could tell he has a lot of faith and trust in Keon. In that moment showed that, or in that moment, it didn't pay off. So I wrote down in the second quarter, like when things were getting going and we were kind of stalling out, is that these smaller teams are coming for us. Like no team wants to be doubted, wants to be underdogs that low. So like I know it's assumed we're going to get the number one seed in the AFC, just considering our strength of schedule. But every team we play is going to be trying to give us our first loss. So we need to be much, much better than we were today. The Patriots had an outstanding game today, 40 plus points. You think they're going to come into the divisional game next Sunday night and just be like easy peasy and that's it? No, we have a big task ahead of us, in my opinion, for the New England Patriots coming into town. So Josh Allen ball gets tipped and almost picked again. And I just put here in the second quarter, got to put this team away. One highlight, probably the best rookie of the class so far, was Deion Walker. He is such a massive human being. Stuffing runs, getting people to the ground. Just a great, great game for him today. But then Josh Allen just getting sacked. I think he got sacked 3 or 4 times in this game, or sorry, 3 times. That's the most he's been sacked in forever. The O line's usually one of the best in the league, and they all came off the end of Vandermark, so he did not do well. And in that one drive in the second quarter, he got sacked. He got sacked. It was a second down where they didn't do anything. Then he got sacked on third down. Just not a great play. So we're going into halftime, and Cole Bishop makes a big save. The Saints want to get tricky. They go to run a Philly special. The ball's up in the air. Cole Bishop, one-handed interception, stops the play, grabs the ball. Game over for the second half. Just stops a probably would be touchdown and just an awesome defensive game. So we go to the third quarter. They start out good defensive stand. We had a ton of penalties in this game. Going into this game, we were the least penalized team in the league. We had like 8 or 9 penalties today. It was pretty awful. Khalil Shakir, great touchdown earlier in the game, and he just had a great receiving game. And yeah, I mean, a great run by Josh in the game. The probably the highlight reel of the game was Josh Allen in the fourth quarter, but he had a couple great runs today. Thing I've noted here though in the third quarter was how many times is Rattler going to run for the first? Again, pockets closing around him. Lane in the middle is wide open. I'm not sure why we're leaving that much space wide open, and he's just running up. I wrote here, defense was poorly coached today. Holy shit, and just defense killing us. Yeah, the third quarter was not great for the defense. Allen or McDermott looked pretty upset. Everyone looked like they weren't like in rhythm. I believe this is the quarter where there was a too many men on the field penalty, and basically Joey Bosa was like hustling off the field. And at the end of getting off the field, he like slows down and just didn't get off in time. It was just a mess. Fourth quarter, I was like, it feels so off today. Saints came to play, we didn't. Vandermark cost us the 4th down conversion in this quarter. And I write here, one of the most frustrating games I've seen in a while. The Saints almost scored on a touchdown, wasn't caught, settled for a field goal, and it's like a 2-point game. And then Josh Allen puts on the cape. Josh Allen drops back to pass, feels the pocket collapsing like it had all game. He runs up, kind of shakes a tackle, and then just beelines straight. And it's just crazy. Like he steps over the defender, the defensive lineman, and you just see his foot plant, and he just looks up and he just sees the whole field's open. And I could just imagine in my head, he's just laughing like, really, here we go. And it's just off to the races. He's just running down the field. People are trying to tackle him. It's like a bulldozer. Like people are flying everywhere. And then he's finally brought down after 27 yards. And that, I feel like that was the turning point in the game. Just Josh Allen putting on the cape and using his legs. I had a note here that Josh Allen Tre'Davious White, my apologies. I actually thought he had a pretty good game. They're rotating him out with Dorian Strong. Just a really good game. And then a lot of gaps on that pass where the ball was dropped for the touchdown. Bishop and Taylor Rapp were both in the end zone, and they just left the guy wide open. It was just split down the middle. Tre'Davious White had a big stop. Josh Allen obviously had that run, and then he had the Kincaid big touchdown. And then I just had here, what a bad roughing the kicker call on our punter. And that kind of sealed the game for the Saints. Bills show up, they, make it happen. And yeah, it's just what a game today. What a game. So that being said, where are we at now? First thing I want to say is I'm pretty annoyed with Sean McDermott. I'm not one of those guys that says we need to fire him by any means. I think that is a bad argument. I've shared on this podcast before. I think Sean McDermott is a great coach. I think he's brought us a winning culture. That being said, if you're a defensive coach, you need to have your guys ready to play every game. Games like these should be where your defense is just outperforming the other side, where they're showing off, where they're getting sacks, where they're making big plays, where people are competing for each other. But yeah, we're just like always on our heels, always backpedaling, always having to wait to the end to tighten up. I don't know what the philosophy needs to be for Sean McDermott's defense, but it can't be we go into games just sitting and waiting and hoping that we stop a team and then at the end we're just going to make some hero ball plays and win the game. We spent so much capital in the draft on defense. We've coached guys up. We've, spent money on guys. To not have a defense that can shut down one of the worst teams in the NFL is concerning. I'm not one of the guys that's going to sit here and say, oh, because our defense sucks, we're not going to go anywhere. We have Josh Allen. Look at the Ravens games. But I am going to say it would be nice for once in a while in a game where we're over 2 touchdown point underdog or favorites, my apologies. If we're in a game like that, if we could go into that game and just have our defense perform and shut down a team, that would be great because it's so frustrating to watch. It is so frustrating to watch. The miscommunication, not being able to get guys off the field, all the penalties. We just looked like fools today on defense. The defense looked foolish. That is the only word I have for them today. They did not look great until like the last 2 drives of the fourth quarter to steal the game. Which again, it's like it's great that they're doing that, and I commend them for closing out the game and having big plays and tightening down at the end so that the Saints didn't have any chance of scoring. But we need to play a better overall, well-rounded game, and we're not getting that from the defense. And it was so, so, so frustrating to watch it today. And Sean McDermott, you are a defensive coach. You need to get it together. This is probably our best year yet in terms of being able to get to a Super Bowl. And if our defense costs us again, I'm going to lose my mind. There will be hot seat conversations if Sean McDermott's defense does not get it fixed this year and is the reason why Josh couldn't get the team to a Super Bowl. The AFC is open, right? We're the top dog in the AFC right now. We beat the Ravens. Hopefully the Ravens beat the Chiefs. We're leading. We're in first place. Like it is our year to grab the 1 seed. If our defense is the reason why we can't close out these easy games and we fall to 2 or 3 seed, then like we've done something horribly wrong. Sean McDermott has failed this year if that happens. We should be locking up the 1 seed and not playing the first round of the playoffs this year. We should be playing our first game in the divisional round in Orchard Park, same with the AFC Championship, and then running to the Super Bowl. There is no reason why we shouldn't have the 1 seed this year. And I really, truly feel the only reason why we're not going to get it is because the defense isn't going to show up like they did today and cost us 2 or 3 key games. That's going to then lead us to not having that. So the Bills defense needs to figure it out. I'm tired of it. I know you're missing guys. I know at the end of the day we're winning ball games. I'm all for the Bills. I'm one of the biggest fans I know, if not the biggest fan I personally know. But our defense needs to figure it out. We can't have games where we're going against the Saints and just totally not putting up a performance. Spencer Rattler shouldn't be juking out our guys to get first downs. We shouldn't have the Saints threatening to win the game in the third quarter. It should be over. Mitchell Trubisky should be in by the fourth quarter. Josh should be sitting there thinking about Haley Steinfeld, and we should just be done with the game. It should be an easy game's over in the third quarter. Let's go home. Let's go eat some wings and get ready for Sunday Night Football against a division rival. Instead, it had to be a long, drawn-out game because our defense couldn't make a stop until the very, very end, except for Cole Bishop, of course. So, with that off my chest, I will say this as well. The injuries on this team are so concerning because you see how things fall apart. Milano not being there and Oliver not being there are so concerning. Ed Oliver's a beast, and he's just not replaceable. Jackson had a great game today. And, Joey Bosa, I mean, he's a weird dude. I mean, he's really weird because there's some plays, or sorry, not Jackson, Walker. But Joey Bosa, he has some plays where like there was a play today where Rattler was going left with the running back. And and Joey's like looking at him. He's not sure if he's going to like pitch the ball to the running back or just keep the ball, and that lets Rattler go ahead for a first down. And it's like, Joey, you're unblocked. You got to make a play there. You got to make a play. And he's made some great plays, but he has been a little inconsistent this year, in my opinion. What else on defense? I mean, just the amount of times teams are just able to pass on us, to run on us. We've given up a ton of running yards this year, rushing yards this year, and I'm not one to say that. I'm not one to say I'm not necessarily concerned about where we're at. Like, we're the worst run defense. We have Josh Allen. We're gonna be fine, but we need to make some run stops, man. I get it. Like, if you look at our 2 out of 4 games, Kamara and Henry are some of the best backs in the league, but still, we got to do better. Defensively, I mean, Tre'Davious White has been a positive in my opinion. Cole Bishop has stepped up. Deion Walker was a beast today. Greg Rousseau, we need to see more from him. He's had some good plays. Need to see more. Joey Bosa was kind of inconsistent today. And then the coverage was kind of quiet. Teron Johnson was kind of quiet. So has been Benford has been as well. I'm not sure what's going on with those guys. I truly feel like these guys are just assuming they're going to win the game, because we know they all have that dog in them where they can lock down and make plays. And I actually am like not as harsh on defense for our team as others are in the fan base. But I do feel like there's an era of we're already winning this game, and like that should never be assumed. And I really hope going into Sunday night next week, Sean McDermott is screaming at these guys, you cannot take the Patriots lightly, especially after today's performance. We cannot take the Patriots lightly next Sunday night. Go to offense. To all the people that said, why do we pay James Cook? He's answered it this year. To have a record that was last held, or a stat line that was last held by Thurman Thomas, one of the best Buffalo Bills running backs, shows you why we pay James Cook. He is an animal. He is a dog. He just keeps fighting. He gets so many yards, and the ability for us to have a running back that is so threatening, so agile, and able to just get to that next level, it's why we paid him. Khalil Shakir, great receiver. I feel like he's been quiet throughout the beginning of the year. Great game today. Shifty, breaking tackles, that 140-yard plus catch. Just really good to have him back in action and have him running the ball and getting touchdowns and doing what he does best, which is not get tackled. Josh Allen, another game where it's not really a crazy stat line, but man, that dude, when he needs to put it on, he puts it on and he doesn't miss. I'm not worried about the interception at all. If you're going to throw one interception every 4 games, I'll take it. Had some great throws of Shakir. Obviously, he had that pass to Kincaid, who's been getting more involved. Offense was good. I'm going to go on another rant. You see the highlight with Josh. You see him barreling people through, like literally like running and boing, 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 like people running, like bouncing off him. Why Joe Brady is so reluctant to use him is beyond me. The key to many, many plays for our 4th down conversions last year was Josh and shotgun, looking for a quick pass, and then running to the first down. We had some stupid play today where we tried to give it to Shakir, or we'll try to run it with Ty Johnson, which they're all great players. You have Josh Allen. I get it. We want to preserve him, but the dude is a tank. Knock on wood here that he doesn't get hurt. You got Josh Allen. Go get the 4th down with your best player. Just let him run it, or let him throw it, or let him do a pass, or let him do his flick to the guy, or let him throw it to a guy and have him throw it back to him, and then he dives like Superman into the end zone. Whatever you got to do. Give Josh the ball on 4th down. Let that dude do what he does best, and that's make magic and get the first down. And at the end of the game, Joe Brady had a great naked quarterback boot where he went to the left and got the first down, and no one was on him. And it's just like, why are you so reluctant to run those plays? Let Josh Allen do what he does best. He's a beast. He's a freak of nature. Let him do what he does best. Let him go make a play. That being said, we get the dub. We are 4-0, and it's not even close with our division. The Dolphins and the Jets play tomorrow, and it's just it's great to see. It really is great to see. The Bills are in a great spot. We are in a great spot. We're first in the AFC East. If you look at the rest of the teams, there's only one other team undefeated in the AFC, and that's the Indianapolis Colts. We'll see how they do. But if you look at the wild card right now, Kansas City's not even in. If it ended today, the Chiefs nor the Ravens would be in the playoffs, which is an insane thing to see. One of those teams is going 1-3 today. They're currently they're started playing as I'm recording this. I can't wait to go watch that. There's a team over in the NFC I'm worried about. Philadelphia Eagles. Shout out to the Birds fans that follow along. I have some friends that are Eagles fans. Y'all have been tough. Y'all have been another team I feel like that has been bending but not breaking. It feels like we're on a collision course with you all in the Super Bowl. That's been my prediction since the beginning of the year. I don't know if I've ever said it on the podcast, but I do think it's going to be a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl. Within division, I mean, yeah, with a win over the Patriots next week, we're 3 games ahead of everyone. It's or 4 games, I think, actually. It's just stupid how easy the AFC East this year is. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this year plays out. I wanted to do this. I wanted to go look at some of the games ahead. I know there's an off feeling right now. I know, I don't know. It's like the Bills can play so bad, but then Josh Allen has a great play, and then it's like I don't have to worry anymore on Sunday because Josh Allen's the best player in the league and he does what he does best. We look ahead. We have the Patriots coming to Orchard Park. We are an 8.5 point favorite in that game. I think that is way too high. I think this is going to be a close game. I do think the Bills win. It's going to be like a 24-21 game, though, in my opinion. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Depends on how Drake May plays. We then have a Monday night game against the Atlanta Falcons, who sneakily won today. They did a good job today. They're not someone to take lightly. They're not a great team. They're probably in the same league as the Saints, maybe a little better. We got to take them out. We then go against the Panthers, which again, probably the same league as the Saints. And then we have the always confusing yet arch nemesis rivals, the Kansas City Chiefs. And we'll see how that goes. We're a -2.5 favorite in that game. We'll see. It then goes to the Dolphins. It then goes to the very feisty and hard to put away Buccaneers. And if there is going to be a loss on this season that we don't see coming, I think it will be the Buccaneers. I truly do. They have been stellar this year. Even in the Eagles game today, they came and fought back and were close to tying it. Concerned about them. And then it's the Texans, the Steelers they're 3-1 somehow. The Joe Burrow-less Bengals, the Patriots again, the Browns, the undefeated currently Eagles, which will probably be at that game, and then the winless Jets. So we have a very favorable schedule. There is no reason we should not be getting the 1 seed. But at the same time, our defense has to start showing up. I want our defense next week with a full week plus of prep to be ready to go. I wonder if this game, you had a week and a half, you had a week and however many days to plan for this game. And it was just awful. I don't know if it was just not being on the field for so long. There was just too much time in between games. It's early season. We really have to lock in as a defense. We really do. It's an issue. I see all the commentary. I agree with most of it. That being said, we're 4-0. A quarter of the season's over. The Bills are undefeated. My pick is we would be 3-1. I really thought there was up in the air on the Ravens game, as we saw. To be undefeated going into the next 4 games is pretty cool. And I can see a world where we're 8-0 for the next 4 games. We'll see. Wishful thinking. Chiefs cap that, but if we can go 8-0, that would be amazing. And it'd be a great, great start to this year. Injury-wise, I didn't see much. Bernard had a little bit of an injury today. Our punter got nailed, but he seemed to be able to walk out somewhat okay. We need Oliver back, we need Brown back, and we need Milano back. The issue with Milano is he's so inconsistent because of injuries. It's hard to tell when you can rely on him. So for me, it's just this is my take on the defense. When we have everyone going, I feel like we're not as bad as people say. I feel like we can make stops and make plays. It really feels like we're rolling the dice, and we're going to see where it lands regarding injuries going into the offseason. And I would say, I thought this way with Joey Bosa, but if you don't need to play Matt Milano, don't play him. Don't even play him. What's the point if he's going to get hurt? Don't play him in games where we think we can get ahead like today. And when we have games like today where we want to rest some of our starters, we need the other guys to show up. It's just unacceptable to be so close to not winning a game against the New Orleans Saints in their state. They have guys on that roster who are talented, but this should not have been a close game. Should not have been a close game. All right, I wanted to do some Sabres commentary to finish off today. Hockey season's back. I haven't watched any preseason yet. I'll be honest, I'm not as big of a Sabres fan as I am as a Bills fan. My thoughts, though, going into this year is I really don't know what to think. I'm not really sure what to be excited about. Apparently, our defense is somewhat good. I know we've been playing okay in the preseason. But I really just don't know. I've been so burned on the Buffalo Sabres. I've been so just tired of watching them lose, getting excited each year. And I love hockey. I think hockey is such a fun sport. I love it so much. I have a friend, Dave, who's much more into it than I am, but I love watching. I definitely love going to games. I love following the Sabres along. I've been following them along the last few years. And maybe this is just me being tired. Maybe this is a 15-year coming drought. I am just the least excited I've been in quite some time for the NHL season and specifically the Buffalo Sabres hockey to start. And it pains me to say that. I am so unexcited just because of how bad we've been. Getting rid of Paterka was something I didn't agree with. And just, yeah, I mean, I just don't know how I really don't know how this season's going to go. I really don't. I mean, it's just like, it's just hard to say like what's going to happen. It's hard to say what's going to be going on. And, I see stuff like this. The Athletic, they had to say, they had their Buffalo Sabres 2025-26 season preview. And I just want to go over this a little bit. Playoff chances, projected points, roster rankings. So by Dom Lucizanen, I'm sorry for mispronouncing that, Sean Gentile and Shayna Goldman. Quote, the last time the Buffalo Sabres made the playoffs, Corey Perry was a 50-goal scorer, Nicholas Lidstrom won his last Norris Trophy, and Jeff Skinner was the Rookie of the Year. Needless to say, it's been a long era of pain in Buffalo. Will this year be different? Maybe. While the Sabres still earn a 50% playoff bet, they enter the 2025-26 season with their highest chance of reaching the postseason since the rebuild started. Despite the hockey world at large mostly capitulating to Buffalo's bleakness, there might finally be a light at the end of the tunnel. So the Athletics' projection is 90.1 points this season. That'll be 19th in the NHL. They have a 43% chance of making the playoffs and a 1.9% chance of a Stanley Cup victory. Quote, the Sabres are not as utterly hopeless as they've been made out to be, but the pressure is mounting to actually prove otherwise. The last two seasons have been incredibly disappointing given the big step Buffalo took in 22 and 23. Still, there have been incremental improvements made since, even if it hasn't shown up in the standings. The Sabres have slowly improved their defensive game at 5-on-5, a big development for a team that has led the league in 5-on-5 scoring the last 3 seasons, which is just insane. Buffalo's chance generation and suppression on special teams has also gotten better. Small progress is still progress. Is it good enough to finally make the playoffs? Probably not. But after an underrated offseason, the Sabres should have a real shot at being in the mix and taking a legitimate step forward towards sustained success. The big question is now the right time for Tage Thompson, full-time winger. For years, even in the immediate aftermath of his 47-goal 23 season, some variation of the question has trailed Buffalo's 6'6" unicorn. All those goals are cool, but can he actually score them while doing all the less fun stuff required from high-end NHL centers? Faceoffs were a problem. He also was literally one of the worst defensive players in the league. 6th worst, actually, according to defensive ratings for the 22-23 season. The answer is coming drips. He went from 94 points to 56, which is not good. Quote, if you're overly concerned about what Thompson's doing in his own end, and then a coach told us back then, and that means he's a 50, 60 point guy, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. They're saying he had a bounce back last year in a big way, scoring 44 goals in 76 games. A league leading 33 of those came at 5-on-5. From January 20th onward, nobody scored more goals overall than Thompson's 25. It was vintage stuff. Season ending kick also came while he was playing wing full time. Cue the mournful clarinet. So we'll see that. They're also looking at Josh Norris and whatnot. The wild card, can Owen Power take the leap to stardom? I've been very, very disappointed. He's not even 23 yet, but man, he's had issues. In their strengths, they say Josh Doan and Michael Kesselring are not JJ Paterka. It's difficult to win a trade by giving out the best player, but on his team, the incoming duo has real potential to make a genuine difference. Their biggest strength going into the season is depth, which is really cool to see. And they're looking at the defense on that. Anything else? Dahlin is an uber high-end player, arguably one of the 15 best in the world. The biggest problem in Buffalo is that the Sabres don't have many others worthy of even landing in the top 150. Thompson was the only other Sabres representative within this year's player tiers, and while he's a terrific piece as a guy who can absolutely fill the net, you'd be hard-pressed to find a contender with a weaker top forward. More pressing is immediate core. Alex Tuch is great, and a notable sub from this year's tiers. It's just also just the idea that Detroit, Montreal, and Ottawa are going to be contenders this year. So overall, the best case for us is 103 points. They say a decade of bad luck turns in an instant as the Sabres make a serious push for home ice in the playoffs thanks to huge improvements on the power play. Thompson and Dahlin remain electric, and they're aided by substantial jumps from Benson, Kulik, Quinn Power, and Byram, not to mention newbies Doan and Kesselring. At long last, Buffalo is back. And then the worst case is 80 points, and they simply say same stuff, different season. There might not be a team in the league tougher to judge on its own merits. The Sabres have plenty of reasons to believe, which we all know. That, though, is backed by 14 seasons worth of well-earned skepticism. Crazy stuff. Well, we'll see. That's my recap today. Obviously, a great Bills win. The Sabres season coming up close. It is about to be October, which means sports are fully back in action. Thank you all for following along. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. What a game. What a win. We are 4-0. Good things for the Bills. Hopefully, great things for the Sabres. And with that, I will say, go Bills. We'll see you on the next Stray Buffalo podcast.